Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Like I said, it's not like a podcast, so I just wanted to have you on here. I thought you would be like perfect to like talk about astrology, talk about men, everything.
Okay, cool.
So, my first question I have for you is, when did you start getting like so deep into astrology? Because I remember you made like a whole list of like literally men and women that you and what you liked about them.
No, I always, it's funny because I've always like looked at, the horoscopes and the zodiac things since I was younger. And it was never like a real, it was like never a time that I didn't believe in it. But also, one thing, like I was raised by Leo. So Leo people are just obsessed with their sign. Like because I was a Leo.
Yes.
But I just always believed in it because growing up, like she used to talk about being a Leo. So I'm like, I'm a Leo. It just made me pay attention, made me think that it was a thing. So then I just started reading. But then this one thing I tell people all the time about zodiacs and like the signs. I don't let signs tell me about astrology. I let people tell me about astrology. Right. I mean, I don't let signs tell me about people. Right. I let people tell me about the sign. Right. Because I don't want to say like this is how the sign is supposed to be, and then think that every single person is going to be like that. So what I do is like I just do like because I have so much access to people with what I do. It's like I do the categorizing as far as what I think their similarities and qualities are. So for the most part, it's like backed up on just data from me being around so many people. Right. Like and being able to the relationship that I have with people, especially from being on the internet, where they're like telling me their deepest, darkest secrets, or like telling me their feelings or whatever they're doing. Then I'm like, I can really see them for who they are. And right. And then I just do more research. Like.
Yes. Same. I'm really
into astrologers and stuff when I got older.
Right. Yeah, I used to be the same way. Like my dad is a Gemini, my mom's a Taurus, and my mom, because obviously my dad's a Gemini, my mom will always be like, you get that Gemini side from your dad or whatever. So growing up, I always knew that I was a Gemini. So literally, I would be the only kid in elementary school like, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Gemini. Like, what are you talking about? And then when I got older, well, no, it was my sister. She's older than me. She's like about 7 years older than me. So she was on Twitter before I was. And she would, one day we were in the car and she showed us like your blog. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like that she's into astrology. Like it's so cool to like meet other black girls that are into stuff like that. So I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So that's when I really started like studying it. And then I got really into it. I would buy all books and stuff. And then I was like stalking your, like me and my friend were like obsessed with your Twitter when we were in high school. Oh my God, did you see Cutty's tweet or whatever? It was like an obsession. So, I thought that was really cool that you were really into that. And then also like that you're just so opinionated and just so like open with, so transparent with so many things that women go through. I was like, oh, I have to have her. And then also, I want to know, do you know your big three? Like, do you know like your moon and rising? Okay.
So I'm a Leo sun, but I'm on the last day. So some people don't believe in cusp, but I do.
Me too.
So I'm Leo, Virgo, cusp with a Libra rising and a Aries moon.
Oh my God, that makes a lot of sense. Especially the Libra rising. You definitely come off like your fashion sense is definitely like very Libra. But Leos are pretty fashionable too, but you definitely give off like Libra vibe, like aesthetic wise. But
you know, for a long time I didn't know about Libras, right? Mm-hmm. Because they kind of go under the radar for, like, they don't have a big representation like the Leos and the Geminis and the Scorpios and the, you know, like, they don't have, like, besides being the balance thing, people don't have, like, the feeling that they don't have the, you know, like, oh, I hate the Libras, or, you know, like a lot of the other signs have.
Right.
So they kind of like the middle child that kind of just gets, you know, lost in the thoughts.
Yeah.
So when I started learning more about, when I started getting into my chart a couple of years ago, and I started learning a lot about Libra, I always thought that all of that stuff was Leo. And then so my astrology said, oh yeah, of course, it would be just like Leo to think everything about being, you know, fabulous or like dressing nice or whatever about being Leo. And I was like, and she was like, no, you know, Libras are really into things that are pleasing to the eye. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the fabrics, the texture, you know, anything that's pretty. And like the Libra doesn't have to be the expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it just has to be pretty.
Yes, and extra.
So that with Leo, who wants it to be expensive? So it's like now they're gonna be pretty inexpensive.
Yes.
Like, oh,
yes. That's so funny. I'm actually an Aries moon also. I'm also on the cusp. I'm the last day of Gemini, so people are like, I kind of like that a little bit though, because like, you know, Gemini sometimes get a bad rep. So I love that when people meet me, they're like, they're like, you don't act like a Gemini, which I mean, I kind of take that as a compliment because I do meet Geminis and I'm like, I can see why people don't like us because like y'all really do. Yeah, like y'all really do be doing too much sometimes, but I like being a Gemini. Like I do feel like I am one, even though I'm literally like in the last day.
Yeah.
And then also, like you said, like I believe in cusp. Like I feel like I do have a lot of Gemini and Cancer characteristics. Yeah. And I know one other person. I know one person that I'm actually like closer with, and his birthday is also June 20th. And he said that people tell him all the time he doesn't act like a Gemini. And my air.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
What do you tell me? What do you feel about this Aries moon situation going on? I'm like, I was just on live the other day saying like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what it's really doing for me. Like, I'm not sure if I was like, because I was saying, I was joking saying I want to make my own chart, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I need my own chart. I want to put a figure my own stuff, right? Because the indecisiveness of the Libra is getting really annoying.
Yeah.
And so the Aries, you know, Aries and Leo are very similar, allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a lot of Aries around me, so the Aries that I know of, we're not actually friends, right? So I don't have my opinion a lot about who we are, like our emotion. I mean, who Aries people are, their emotions, their actions. Like for the most part, everybody calls me and talks to me about my Aries. Even the Aries themselves have a lot of issues with friendships, right?
Yeah.
They're like, so I'll say something like, so what is the problem? Like, what do you think that people think about you? They're like, bitch. I'm like, whoa, you know.
I mean, I have an Aries friend. I get along with her very well, and she is like, well, I don't know, maybe because I'm an Aries moon, so like I can bring out a different side of her. But she's great with me. I mean, she's definitely like her way or the highway type of person, but she's not a difficult person, so it's like I don't mind doing it her way. Like she's like, I don't want to go to that party, and I don't want those random people around me, and I'm not socializing. I'm like, all right, well, you made a good point because I don't really feel like socializing with random either, so I'm gonna stay home with you. So like I don't, huh?
That's the Cancer part.
Yeah, no, seriously. Seriously, and I hate that because like the Gemini in me is like, no, like let's do it, like let's go out or whatever. But then I'm like, you definitely did just talk me back into my comfort zone. Let's just stay home or whatever. But I mean, I feel like when most females meet my Aries friend, they get along with her. She definitely may come off like, oh, I definitely think she didn't like me because she definitely just has like this face, just like I'm just here and I'm listening to everything y'all saying and watching everything y'all doing and. I'm gonna determine if I like you after you leave. And when you leave, I'm gonna tell my friend, don't hang out with you no more. So, I mean, and I can definitely see that in myself too. I don't know if that's the Gemini side of me where I'm just like, I think I'm so intuitive and I think I know everybody better than themselves. So like, I'll be like, my friends will invite me with them, like out with their friends, and I'll be like sitting there observing the whole time. I'm like, that girl's not your friend. She's jealous of you. I can tell just by the way she said that or whatever. Like, I definitely can be like that. So I can see why people probably don't like Aries because they definitely are blunt, straightforward. A lot like Leos, like you said, and it's so funny because a lot of my Leos and my Aries friends, they do clash. Like they don't really. They're she like.
Even though everybody said that we're supposed to be besties.
Yeah, but
everybody said about Leos and Aries that we are known to be really good friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like. I want to find some Aries friends, but then all the Aries who call me have problems with their friends.
Yeah.
Leo. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to think about this.
That's true. No, no, my Aries moon definitely, well, first of all, I'm a Gemini sun, Aries moon, and Sag rising. So I'm like, yes.
I love that.
Really? Oh my God. Oh yes. My camera girl over here is a Sag also. But
well, that's because we're very similar. Like they always say, like even somebody in my comments yesterday said something. I had, because I came up with this zodiac game. So
yeah.
Cards are multiple choice about scenarios. So one of the cards is about Leo. And one of the girls said, in the comments, she said, well, I think the answer is A, that's what a Sag would do. And Leo and Sag are basically the same. Pretty much.
Yeah. That's because it's all fire signs. So Aries, Sag, and Leo. You guys are always going to clash because you guys are all going to be the alpha females. Like, you guys are always like, this is what we're doing. Like, and Sag women are so dominant, especially when they're not like you. There's two types of Sag women. You have like the introvert Sag, and then you have they're all kind of introverted, but you have the introverts that will literally get extroverted when it's a crowd. Like, this is what we're not doing. This is what you're not going to say. And then you have the shy Sag that'll be like, well, I'm not going to deal with her because I don't like the way she moves, but like she's maybe not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But when I tell people my big three, they're like, oh my God, so you're like all three signs of crazy.
I think Sag and Gemini are opposite signs.
Yes.
They share a lot of the same qualities. So it's very, sometimes people don't know where it's pulling from,
Girl.
Because the guy that I deal with, he's a Sag, and I think his rising is a Gemini. And I'm like, yeah, so you're just full of shit. Like,
let me just enjoy the ride while I can because you never know.
Oh, Lord, you're all over the place.
But the thing is, with Sag men though, I will say, once they do like you, they're kind of always going to be around. So it's like, even if y'all weren't to work out, it wasn't to work out, he's always just going to be around. Like, he's that one guy, like, you know how they say around... Yeah, and they say like when Mercury retrograde comes, like all your exes come around, you'll definitely hear from your Sag girl. Like, definitely gonna hear from them.
Yeah, the Sagittarius, they'll always double back, especially. But this is the crazy thing because the point, the main point about what you said is like if y'all connect like that, like if y'all lock in, like if he really likes you, because otherwise most people don't get to experience Sag like that.
Yeah, they don't.
No, because they are so flighty and they're like, low commitment, the bachelors of the zodiac. So they can come in, it's like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
and still be out there marketing themselves as single to the point where all the girls who experience him, like, it's such a heavy reputation because technically he can't really commit to them because he already has somebody.
Right.
Like, they're really, really big cheaters. They have tools to not want to do something with anybody else. And that has to deal with, that comes after a lot of evolution and self-evaluation.
Right.
And for them to build a conscience. Because the idea of anybody telling a Sag, you shouldn't do this, you can't do this, you know, that's not right if you do this, it makes them do it more.
Absolutely.
They do not like to be controlled, they do not like to be limited, they do not like boundaries, restrictions, anything. Even if they know they shouldn't, just the fact that you told them they shouldn't, or they couldn't, or they can't, or they better not, now you just unleashed the dragon.
Oh my God, yes. They're not
even just in relationships, that's in
everything. Parenting, everything. Yes.
School, friendships, business, anything you tell them they can't do, they're going to go do it to prove that A, you can't tell me what to do, and B, that I can do it my way without doing it your way.
That's a lot like a Leo too, though. Do you agree?
I don't know. I don't think that Leos have the same rebellion. Like, Leos will go about something their own way, and but then it's the intention that is different. Like, their motivation that's different.
Right.
Like, Sagittarius people are rebellious. Leo people aren't necessarily rebellious, but they're more, Leo is the type of person, if you tell them that they can't do something, they're going to do it to prove that they could, but not to defy you.
True.
To prove you wrong.
That's true.
Oh, girl, if you get pregnant, you have a baby right now, you can't, you ain't going to be able to graduate from school, or you ain't going to be able to balance work and school, or you're not going to be able to do this and do that, and then they're going to go do it and succeed to show you that they can, right? But Sagittarius takes it to a whole nother level. Even if it's in their favor, they're to listen, they're still going to defy you just because they don't want to listen.
That is so true. There is like no calming. That's one thing about like the extroverted Sagittarius that I just can't get with. Like the ones that literally just don't listen to anything. Like that. A lot of Sag characteristics reminds me of Aquarius sometimes. I'm like Aquarius females. I'm just like, girl, like just listen to me. Like I'm literally right. Like I can literally. They won't even allow you to pull it up on Google to prove that you're right. They're like, no, I'm not listening. I'm like, okay, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. I can't. That's my one thing about Sag. Some Sag, not all Sag, and almost every Aquarius female I meet is like that. There's like no talking to them. I'm like,
even if you prove them wrong, they're not gonna admit it.
No, and then they'll try to. I hate when Aquarius do that whole like, you were right. I'm not gonna say you were right. I'm just gonna show you that you were right, and then try to make it seem like I was the one that figured it out. I'm like, I can't deal with stuff like that. Like I can't. It pisses me off.
Well, I don't know how I used to be. I can't say that I was or was not like this in the past. I'm not sure. Now, I totally am the person who can say, hey, my bad.
Yeah.
Right? You got that. I started to realize like there's a way to be wrong gracefully.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to be like, if it hurts your pride or your ego to say, oh, I'm wrong or whatever, you can say it in a way that eases, smooths it over with your ego, and you can be like, girl, oh my God, no idea. Today you're going when I was down there, you told me something new, I had no idea.
Right. I will say,
you don't feel embarrassed about being wrong.
I will say most of my Leo friends, like, they definitely can, like, you can tell them that they're wrong, and they'll just be like, okay, like they'll laugh it off or whatever. Like they're not really like stubborn people when it comes to like, no, you're dead wrong. Because I will say that I like to say that most advice is literally like just BS because it's like, what can somebody really tell you? But I feel like a lot of my Leo friends genuinely do come to me for genuine advice. Like they're really like, I really don't know what to do. Like, am I wrong? Like sometimes Leo people really just need, they're so self-absorbed naturally, which is, it's not always a bad thing. So sometimes they're really just like, I just did what was best for me. Like, what's wrong with that? And like, sometimes there's really nothing wrong with that. It's just like sometimes you do have to see how it can come off as inconsiderate. But I feel like when you do talk to them about it, they'll listen to you. Will they make the changes right away? I don't know. But they'll listen to it and it'll sit in the back of their mind. Like they may not make the changes like right away, but it's like, all right, so I do know that I am like, I have one Leo friend and like I would always tell her like, you're really selfish. Like I know you don't mean to be so selfish all the time, but like, and she was also an only child too, so I think like she really just couldn't help herself. Yeah. And I would have to tell her like, you're really selfish. And like, granted, like, yeah, it may not change, but she would listen to it and she'd be like, okay, well now I do notice about myself. Like I am selfish. And like, is she gonna change it? No. But, right, like, am I gonna change that? Probably not. But I do, like, she will acknowledge that she is. So it's like, I mean, sometimes that's the most important, acknowledging.
So there's a fine line with egos and selfishness. There's, because we take offense to being called selfish because we're so generous, right? Yeah. So when people say that we're selfish, we're like, are you crazy? You know, like, I give and give. How is that possible? Because we can't wrap our head around the fact that you could be selfish and generous at the same time. So basically, I tell people, we're actually more self-centered than selfish, right? Yes. So it's like, yes. So like, let's say, for example, and I tell people this all the time, but I do say that I can be both sometimes, but it's more, the self-centeredness is really more than the selfishness. Because selfishness is like, I just prioritize myself. I've learned to, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if it's something that I don't really want to, or something that's going to affect me, and that comes from me, like actually working on that in regular therapy, because there was a point where I couldn't say no, right? So now that I'm working on that, I mean, sometimes I even feel selfish, you know, like sometimes I feel self-centered, but I know that that's going to come up to certain people in that way because of, you know, how they feel about it, what I'm doing or not doing for them. Sometimes that's how, you know, it happens like that. But as far as I tell people all the time, you may help me move, right? Like let's say I'm moving. Come, you help me pack up my boxes, my house, and this has happened in real life. I have had friends help me move twice. I'm never helping you. I don't care that you help me move. I will buy boxes, tape, bubble wrap, pay for the movers to come and help you. Might drive the U-Haul truck for you, but it's not my person. I don't even want to help me move. Right, at least you know that about yourself. Right. I'm being honest about that. So if you do it for me, don't expect for me to do it to you. Like, you just gotta know my personality. And that's like more general life advice that I be telling people. Right. But signs aside, because people take things like that very personally. Mm-hmm. I know as Leo, I'm just not gonna. I'm not doing it. Like that, you know, so, you know. Right. That's all just about being self-aware though. Like knowing yourself. Like, listen, like, that's just establishing boundaries. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm the friend that you can call for X, Y, and like I always tell my, like, oh my God, when it comes to like sad stuff, death and stuff like that, I am not the friend that's about to sit and cry with you. We're about to actually go distract you from that because I'm just not that girl. Like, I don't even cry like from my own situations. Like, I'm literally like everyone would be in the room crying. I'm like, can y'all stop? Like,
can y'all please stop? This is really awkward. So, yeah, like, I'm just not a crier. Like, it could be like the saddest thing. Maybe. It could be. Because my one Aries sun friend, she's kind of like emotionally detached. Like, she's really just not like, which is another thing I think, Aries and, I think Aquarius really has, Aquarius females anyway, they have a lot of fire sign traits in them. Like, they're very, and then Taurus women too. They're also just like, no, like, I don't care. Like, that has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. Like, let's just keep it moving, like, type of people. And my one, yes.
Detached is not really the word. It's more like compartmentalized.
Yeah, it's like, why would we be crying over this when we can literally just find a solution type of thing? And I like that kind of, like, I like people that deal with it that way, because I'm like, all right, it already happened, so. Right, I'm like, it already happened, so what is crying gonna do? We need to, like, can we find a solution? Like, seriously, if there's no solution, then all right, like, I might even want to cry myself, like, all right, now we're really stuck. But like, if there's something that we can fix, like, I'm just always thinking the next step. So I'm like, okay, now, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go out for drinks, food, or are we gonna cry all day? Because I'm not gonna stay there.
My friend, one year, it might have been last year, she was like, oh my God, I know this stuff, you know, the day your grandmother passed, do you get sad around this stuff? I was like, no. And she was like, really? That's the most important person, like, that was your world. I said, so I'm supposed to get re-sad every year?
Right.
I said, people do that to themselves. They self-inflict those things on themselves.
Exactly.
Like, they make up things to be sad about.
Yes.
So you're gonna keep on putting so much stock into this date that for the rest of your life, you are gonna be sad on this day
every year.
Over and over and over and over again.
Like, that's sick. Like, you actually.
The day before and the day after, so you're gonna be sad how many times a year? You're gonna be sad when the day they died, their birthday, Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Like, you're just gonna keep on getting
sad. Yeah, it's like, no. Yeah, no, I'm not that girl. Yeah, I always tell people, like, I'll be there for you, but we're not about to do the whole sad thing. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm the friend that's literally about to act like none of this sad stuff is going on. I'm about to be dancing, pouring shots. Like, I'm just not sitting around being sad. Like, I see no fun in that at all. But another thing I wanted to ask you, what are some, like, you tried it and every time it's a fail? Because I know you said you don't let signs determine how you deal with people. So me too. Like, I've had a bad experience with a Capricorn. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna date a Capricorn again. So are there any?
I don't want to date a Capricorn. I don't want to date a Virgo. I don't want to date a Cancer. I don't want to date Taurus. But not because I think that they're bad guys, but because I am not compatible with them.
Yes.
Right? So Capricorn man, way too boring. Too slow, too boring, too much work, can't do.
Yeah.
Okay? I am not about to sit up here and pull back the layers to get into your heart and get the pot of gold and, because they're great. I suggest a Capricorn to everybody.
Yeah, they are good. They are good.
I'm like, now people are like, people try to paint Capricorn men out to be the demons of the earth. Oh, they're so sneaky, they're cheaters. I'm like, but not really.
They really are.
Yes, there are some, but that's not their reputation for real, right?
They're actually very committed.
Exactly. Like, you want to save God, get you a Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the safest you can go.
They don't leave the house. They don't do it. They actually worse than Taurus. They're so boring.
Exactly. So I'm like, oh my God. Now, so I can't do Capricorn because of that, because clearly I'm toxic and I need it. So, Virgo men, those are the evil geniuses.
Absolutely.
They are the mad scientists that try to put you in a psych ward. They are super crazy manipulative to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna beat them up. So, because the minute that you try to play those mind games on me, like, I'm gonna get mad and I'm just gonna go crazy because they're too good at it. They're mad scientists.
They are.
They try to reconfigure your brain with the manipulation and then they
And they like to get their revenge. Like, you can't like lie or like do something sneaky or something. I mean, granted, you shouldn't be doing that in a relationship anyway. But you can't do that and like they just let it slide. Like, they're gonna take you back and then they're gonna get you back. Like, I don't like that. Aries men too, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Cancer guys, they remind me of Virgo guys a little bit as far as, so there's two things about Virgo men. I mean, there's something about Virgo men and Cancer men that I relate to each other. I always say, they package themselves up really nicely, right? Mm-hmm. So they seem to have their shit together, the bells and whistles. I mean, and the mature one, the mature ones that like, because they like money, like they really like money, they like their nice stuff, whatever. So they look really good, all shiny and, bright on the outside. But it's like a window at a department store. It's like you see this nice window, but that stuff is not really in that store. Mm-hmm. So it's like they ignore you in with all of this stuff that they have, but you have no access to it. Mm-hmm. So, and it's very rare, and what happens is so many women like are vying for them because they want to be the one who wins this prize. Like, oh, they're successful, they have money, they have houses, they dress nice, they live alone, blah, 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 all of this stuff. But it's very, 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 very far between that anybody even gets, access to anything. So they know this. So they just keep on dangling it over your head, but, you'll never really win it.
Yeah.
And then now the other two that I really, for myself, that I don't want, Taurus, they're not that bad, but they're also earth sign, slow, stubborn, conservative. Like, they play a lot of mind games with controlling. Taurus, the Taurus sign, some of the worst tyrants of the world were Taurus, right? So like Saddam Hussein, Hitler, Jim Jones, who made everybody drink the Kool-Aid, like all the people like it was my way or your bed. If you didn't do what I wanted you to do, you had to die, or if you weren't like how I wanted you to be, you had to die. That is
the Taurus man. Yes, that is so true.
In that way, so it's like, and it's just not gonna work out for me. And then lastly, I feel like Aquarius is hit or miss because I've actually seen the good side of Aquarius.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen it. But it's so because with Aquarius, they're not lovers, right? So they're not the people. You can't lock in an Aquarius on a lovey-dovey thing. Like the thing that makes an Aquarius man like googly eyes for you, and googly eyes for you is basically to have all your shit together, be worried about yourself, right?
Literally.
Like, have all your shit together, be worried about yourself, and let him see you as an asset, and he's like, that will be a good person for me. Mm-hmm. And then, once you, like, it's such a rigid, the jump for you to actually, make it over to the side of, oh, they like you or love you or want to be with you. It's just, the obstacle is just so hard.
Right.
That it's like very few actually make it there.
Very few. Yeah, they have a lot. When it comes to commitment, them and Sag men, I feel like are very like you. It's an honor to like be the girl that they are like really gonna settle down with. Because there's always I feel like Aquarius and Sag men, they always have very good candidates. Like they always have like several women that it's like, why don't you just settle down with her? Right? It's like, why don't you just settle down with her? She's a nice girl, like blah blah. And they're like, there's other nice girls. Like, we'll see how nice she really is, like, type of guy. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I got time for that, no.
That's true. I always say, like, actually in my zodiac
I think all fire sign men are all big on having assets, like needing people in different places. Like I can literally, now that I say it out loud, every fire sign, whether it's an Aries, Sagittarius, or a Leo man, I can call them for like almost anything that I need. Like, you know somebody that hang TV, you know somebody that do this, they're like, oh yeah, I got a guy. Like they are so well connected. They're all about connection. So I can definitely agree to that.
Yeah.
What about females? Like, what are some female signs that you just can't do? Like, you've been friends with them, you tried it, and you just come to the conclusion like, no, it's this sign. Like, it's not just, yeah.
The one thing about me is that, surprisingly, and this really comes from me just being super involved, and I think it's me seeing myself as an imperfect person, so not expecting everybody else to be perfect. Because like people like really get aggravated by stuff and write everybody off. I'm the most patient person on this earth. Like I don't know how. I don't know, not literally, because of course sometimes I can be a little impatient. For the most part, a lot of things don't bother me.
Me too.
Patient, right? So I will say that all the signs, it's like females, the ones that I feel like have their thing about them that gets on my nerves the most, but I will still deal with them. But so those signs are, and I might just like, let me think. As a friend, I like Aquarius women, right? Like as a friend, but I would know why. I know why Aquarius people don't have a lot of friends, and it's because of their inconsistency, right? They will go once without speaking to you, and people take offense to that.
Right.
So when you go back and you start speaking to them, they call and they're like, hey girl. Most people are gonna be like, well, where the hell you been? You know? But for me, I'm like, hey girl.
Right.
You know, so I know that if you don't know that about Aquarius women, you're gonna be like, she's so flaky. She goes, as soon as she gets a man, she disappears. She wasn't worried about me. Whatever. You might go over once a year. They might text you on your birthday. That's it. And they still consider you their friend. They don't care.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I don't have a lot of Aries friends. Taurus women, I've learned the beauty of Taurus women over the years, because I used to talk a lot of shit about them. Because it used to irk me so much how much they hid their true selves, hid what was going on. They had this, all they care about is looking perfect on the outside. Everything about perfection. So because I did have Taurus people that I knew from the inside, and I saw what they portrayed, I was like, oh, she a liar. Like, she's delusional, Yeah. And I used to wonder, so I used to think, and they will literally, it's all about their image and everything like that. But now that I've gotten older and I started to see the great parts about them, friendship wise, ride or die.
Absolutely. I love Taurus.
They're down for you. They're very, very, they take friendship very seriously.
Yes.
So I started to really write off a lot of the things because once I started to really analyze Taurus women, I started to realize that that's just a self thing. They just don't want people to see them, and also because they're so critical of others, right? So because they're so critical, they don't want people to be critical of them. So, and they will genuinely be doing the same thing that they would be talking shit about, but then they don't want you to know that. So
absolutely.
From the inside looking out, are like, what the hell? But so that used to bother me a lot, because I used to be like, oh, they're so phony, they're liars, they're not transparent at all. But now I just write it off, because I'm like, I look at me knowing the truth about them as a privilege, right? I'm so close with them that I know the truth. Let them do whatever Right? But just know that the fact that you do know the truth, you're on the inside. So I kind of give them a pass, especially because they're not bad people.
They're not.
Right? So since they're not bad people, I'm like, and when I say bad, I can't really say. I was gonna say I can't say who's bad, but I know who has the bad reputation, right? Like the backstabbers, the liars, the the friends, the criminals, whatever. And lastly, the two others that drive me crazy, Virgo. I'm very, very, very close with Virgos, but they're bitches, right? Like they're bitchy as hell.
A lot like Taurus women. Like they have so much to say about everybody, but they'll do the same thing. But I think it's really just because that's what, like you said, I don't take offense to it because that's really just how they are. Like they want the best for everyone, kind of, even themselves. So they're so hard on everyone, and even themselves. And like Taurus women, to piggyback off of what you were saying, I'm close with a lot of Taurus women. Like that's like most of my circle are Taurus, and like you said, it's all about the outside appearance, but inside they don't feel that good about themselves. Like I always have to uplift my Taurus friends. Like, girl, you see how you look? Like you're amazing. Like you're the blueprint, and they're just like, no, I don't get it. Like they don't get it.
But they're still nitpicking.
Yeah, yep.
And
they want everything to be perfect.
Like the Virgos are miserable. Like they're miserable because nothing is enough.
Yep.
Nothing is perfect. They strive for perfection. There's literally no such thing as perfection. Like for the most part, and they just strive for something that is just not attainable, and that so they cannot savor anything that is happening, and they, and that's why I noticed, like, this is fucked up to say, a lot of the Virgo girls on my page just don't stop getting surgery because they're like constantly gotta go back to fix this and fix that, and they're like the ones who start the youngest, and like everything they need to look young, and they need to look fine, and everything needs to be perfect. I'm like, oh my God, stop! You should stop 5 surgeries.
Seriously?
So, and it's like everything. Everybody just going to get some life on BBL. No. They the ones that's going to get everything.
Absolutely.
But I do know that they're very, very, very good-hearted. Like the people who are in their closest inner circle, and that's why. And I always say this: you cannot befriend a Virgo. A Virgo has to befriend you.
That's true.
Right? So they have to vet you and then mosey on over to you some way, somehow, and want to be your friend because they're so skeptical that the minute you try to be their friend, they're like, no, that girl, she trying to be known, she on a number, but she knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. I'm like, oh my God. So that's how I got so close with them because I'm super transparent to the point where they're like, oh, she's not afraid to, say her deepest, darkest, most inner thoughts. She's pretty honest or whatever. Oh, okay, she's funny, she's whatever. Or they got to find something in you that they like. Oh, she dresses nice. Oh, she wears, she travels to places
that's so true.
They don't want to do anything that anybody else does. So if everybody want to Mexico, they don't want to go to Mexico.
Oh my God, yes.
They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They want to go where everybody else is not going. Whatever. And then lastly, the Scorpios.
Oh God, my best friend is Scorpio.
I tell people all the time, I cannot be friends with Scorpio. I cannot, because they're going to kill me. Because somehow, some way, I'm going to hurt their feelings unbeknownst to me. And they are going to have this secret vendetta against me that I have no idea about, and then I'm going to wake up and my hair is going to be shaved off, right? Because they got to kill you. They got to get you back, right? Because everything is so deeply, that they're so sensitive about everything. So they're going to be offended by every single thing that I do. Like, so, how I was saying about, my friends helped me move and I didn't help them move. Oh, you're on a chopping block with a Scorpio.
Yeah, you are.
Right? If they buy you something, like, I was joking about this on my live one day. I said, listen, with a Scorpio, if they went and they, planned something for your birthday, got you a cake, did some balloons, invited everybody over as a surprise and you know, whatever for your birthday. And you're like, oh, thanks, whatever. And then, you know, their birthday won't come around, and I don't enjoy planning and doing things like that, whatever. So I'm just gonna take you to the finest restaurant and spend $700 on dinner and have you dressed up. They're gonna be like, and all she did was take me to dinner. And I'll be like, girl, this was $700.
Right.
This was the nicest restaurant you've been to in your life, you know? And they're gonna be like, but that's just dinner. That's nothing. And I'm thinking about the money aspect, and they're thinking that I didn't gather the friends and blow up the balloons and get the cake and all that stuff. And I'm thinking that I just, you know, checked off a box in your life about, you know, fine dining or whatever the case may be.
And they don't care about that at all.
I'll pick like a restaurant they might have never been to or whatever. And so our friendship is always going to be on the rocks because every single thing that I do is going to affect.
Yeah, that's true, because Leos are definitely more like, not materialistic, but you guys care more about, well, yeah, material, like you guys care like more like, oh, this costs, like, you would be like, oh my gosh, it's a $700 dinner, like, I love her, like, I hang out with her all the time. Scorpios are more so like the vibe. That's why I think I vibe a lot with Scorpios, because they like more of an intimate vibe. Like, my one Scorpio friend, like, we don't ever, like, I have friends that, like, you know, I mean, well, no, my Scorpio friend, like, she'll spend money on me too. Like, she'll spend money, like, she's not materialistic though. Like, she will, like, see the quality in something, like, this is a really nice thing, I'm gonna buy for my friend. But she's also the type of friend that'll literally go in the dollar store and get you so many different things that are so thoughtful. Yeah, and it's so thoughtful, and which is what I like stuff like that. Like, I like to know that my friends put thought into them, into the gifts. Yeah, exactly. I was say, and Leos are like, girl, because me and my one Leo friend, like, she will always think I was so crazy because I was like, I don't want cash as a gift. That's not a gift. She's like, what? They can give me cash as a gift. Like, I will spend that wherever. I'm like, I'm like, do not give me cash. You need to pick me something out. Like, so that's why I think me and Scorpios do vibe in that way, because I'm more of the thought person. Like, and I'm also not one of those, like, when I say thought, don't just give me something and just be like, oh, like, well, I bought you this because your birthday. Like, no, it better be something I actually like, because I'm not being grateful for something I don't want. Like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. I'm like, get out to your mother. I don't want that. Like, I don't want that crap. So it's like, I'll take a bamboo plant from the dollar store and an elephant, because I love elephants, for like $5 or whatever, before you give me some ugly Chanel bag that nobody's ever gonna wear. Like, I don't want that ugly bag. Like, where do you even find that? So
I'm the total opposite.
Yes.
That's why, like, I really don't like flowers like that. All my friends love flowers.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
I love stuff like that. I'm all about thoughtful gesture. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely, it depends on who it is. Like, my mom, my sister, my man. Like, oh, you better spend some money, and it better be something that I really want. But my friends, like, I don't care as long as it's thoughtful. Like, I'm into crystals, sage. Like, even if you want to buy, all that stuff is under $20, and you buy it from me, it's gonna make my day. I love it. But my man, oh, don't come in here with no crystals. Because then now they rocks, they're not crystals. Like, you want me to hear some rocks for my birthday? Like, are you crazy? But yeah, but no, you know, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to like the signs and stuff. Like, when it comes to women, yeah, because I'm a Gemini, so I literally have two sides. Like, I can literally see, like, I see the beauty in people's flaws, and I'm also an esthetician, so like, I'm literally always like admiring people's flaws. Like, I'll be doing a facial, like, oh my God, this girl has the cutest nose I've ever seen. Like, just random stuff like that. So I'm a little biased when it comes to that, because like, when women, like, I don't care what sign you are, I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna just brush it off as like, we're emotional, we go through things, so I'm gonna just let it ride. But like, if I run into 3 Aquarius men or 3 Capricorn men, and they all do the same, I'm like, well, I'm done with Capricorn, I'm done with Aquarius. But the females, I'll give them leeway. I'm like, oh no, she's just going through something today, because women are always going through stuff. So
yeah.
And do you one last question? Are you big on like your Venus sign? Do you know your Venus sign?
Mine is Libra.
Libra? Oh my God, you're like a hopeless. So that you're like good in relationships. Yeah. So you probably like. I like Libra women because they make it about the man in the relationship too. Like, they want to do nice things for their men. Like, yeah. Because Taurus women, they're like,
yeah, no.
I'm not like, what? We could go on a trip for your birthday, but you're paying for it. Like, I'll go with you. Like, yeah, but
I'm very catering. I'm the type of person that I'm gonna wake up, make you breakfast, serve to you, get you something to drink. I'll rub my hands. Like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like but he got to deserve it though.
Yeah.
Like, so it has to be a guy that does. And not that I've always been with guys who deserved it, but especially now more than ever, I have totally been choosing the guys who I feel like I'm not doing that unless you're worth it.
Right. Absolutely. No, I can definitely see me being a very giving person in a relationship for the right man.
But you still just gotta give me more.
Yeah, no, you definitely gotta give me more. Definitely. You gotta do a lot for me to even want to give you anything. Like, I'm not just about to be giving a man anything, like, for what? Like, I'll just use that money to spend on me. Like, why would I spend it on you?
Exactly. I try, especially because most of the guys that I deal with don't have money, so I'll have to find the things that I can do on, that are feasible and reasonable. You know, like, if I know that there's something that they like in my budget, I'll make sure I jump with that.
Right.
So I can say, like, check the box, like, I did this for you.
Right.
But it's supposed to be less than $500.
Yeah.
They wanted like $5,000, right? So I'm like, trying to make the impression with the little gestures.
Right. Well, I know you're having fun with your Sagittarius man because they love to spend money. Like, that's their love language. Like, look at what I did for you, babe. Like, I got you this dinner, I got you all this stuff. That's their love language. So I like that.
Like, go out and have a good time.
Yes.
And I'm actually getting old and washed. You always want to know what's the next thing to do. I'm like, oh my freaking God, I'm tired. Can we go home and go to sleep?
Yes. But that's good though.
I'm trying to get my energy back revved up. I'm like, damn, you ain't going to sleep yet.
No.
But yeah, we always restaurants. He's always wanting to do something, and I love it. But then he's way more materialistic than me. I don't even know how that's possible.
No, Sagittarius men are very materialistic. Like, the first thing, I have my male cousins in Sagittarius, but we're also best friends. The first, he'll notice so many things that most guys won't. Like, oh, her hair was done, her brows was done. Like, she got a nice bag. He'll notice stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. Like, I like when guys are into stuff like that too because,
Me too, but then you always gotta be on point, and he's always talking ish if I'm not.
Virgo men, that's what Virgo men for me. That's why I can't be the Virgo men. They're so picky. They're like, did you see that your brows were growing in more? You need to go get them done. Like, oh, how about get out of my face? Like, no, get out of here.
Yeah, that is not all the way.
Yes. Sure. But it was so nice finally getting to talk to you and asking you all my questions. I've been literally wanting to ask you for years on Twitter. So
talking to people about zodiac. I've been doing all day.
Me too. That's why I started this. And I definitely want to get your game because that's going to definitely be a good girls' night, game night.
Yeah, it's so cool. There's 5 categories, and some are zodiac facts, some have legit answers, and then some are majority rules. So it's debate with your friends.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's fun with guys and girls. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get.
Some of the cards, you might have to act out on the side.
Oh yes. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's gonna go viral on TikTok eventually. Seriously, it will. If I have any contributions to it, it will.
Thank you.
But it was nice meeting you. Enjoy your day. It's so nice out. So yes, I'll be tagging you.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay.
Nice meeting you. Bye.